I thought that you was much younger because I saw Luke first, and I said, why would that guy be bringing his girlfriend? And
Oh
then
my,
later on, I learned, I said, what? Mother? Yo. I mean, praise be to God. Yeah,
yes.
I
Yeah.
had no idea. So whatever you're doing, it is working very well.
Yeah. Thank
Better
you,
than most.
Yusuf.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. So I started the recording and I, my why, first of all, I just loved meeting you at True North Health Center, and I absolutely wanted to follow up with you and have a conversation. And then the idea dawned on me, hey, I want other people to hear our conversation because you are just incredibly inspiring to me. And for anybody who happens upon our conversation, I want to just set a little bit of context. I met Yusuf at True North Health Center in Santa Rosa, California. I was there with my son, Lucas. He and I were there for a 5-day water only fast, followed by, I did about 7 days of refeeding there. And during that time, Lucas and I met Yusuf. Lucas and I were there for regular maintenance of our health. Since my husband passed away of cancer in 2014, I have made it a requirement for myself that I would never take my health for granted, and that every year I would go to True North Health Center and spend time there, allowing my body to rebalance and in hopes of getting rid of any cancer cells or any sort of chronic disease that might be cropping up. And I simply did a 5-day water fast, which for me and Lucas was absolutely monumental. And I don't think I could have gone one more moment. But Yusuf was there on an even bigger mission, and you did a 30-day water fast with 3 days after that of juice only, correct? And then
Correct.
you're there, and today's your very, very last day at True North Health Center. And so
That's correct.
I want to get into it with you. Um, I'd like to jump right in to your experience at True North Health Center and sort of how you found yourself there. Um, and then because sometimes when I'm watching YouTube videos, I need certain information and I only have a certain amount of time. So then at the end, I want to know more about you personally, if that makes sense. So
Makes sense.
when I met Yusuf, and this is kind of how it goes at the courtyard in Santa Rosa, it's kind of like, what's your name, where you're from, and what are you in for?
Right, right. What brings you to this space?
Why are you here? So,
Well, before coming to True North, I did 13 days of myself, water and juice
I had
around
no
the,
idea.
oh yeah. I did 13 days at home and lost about 10 pounds, got very weak, and getting to the bathroom at that weakened state must have been about 15, 20 feet, and I struggled.
Okay,
And I
but
was
wait,
alone.
Yusuf, why were you doing the water fasting to begin with at home?
Okay. In November, I got a diagnosis of prostate cancer. after a series of tests, the biopsies, and going to the urologist, I told him when they gave me options of hormone therapy or chemo, radiation, or surgery, all of them have severe not primitive, but side effects. I thought
Permanent.
about my dad.
Yeah.
I thought about my dad, who one of the things he died for was prostate cancer, among other things, and then my brothers and my cousin. So I said, I know there has to be another way because I had already seen Dr. Goldhammer being interviewed on Tom Bilyeu and Rick Roll. And because I was working with patients trying to help them to understand not fasting per se, but the cancer, the linear cancer, the progress or the metastasizing sequences to cancer, starting with free radicals, oxidative stress, leading to the cell system being overwhelmed, and which leads to cancer or autoimmune disease if it's not affected properly.
So you
But
already sort of had a base of information about cancer and autoimmune disease prior to getting your diagnosis?
Yes. And I'm sharing it with these guys in a methadone clinic, trying to help them not to deteriorate so rapidly. So when I got my own diagnosis in November, I'm like, what? Me? Because, I'm a person that exercises most of the time. And I thought I was eating good most of the time, but I did know that my PSA was creeping up. And I needed
how old are you, Yusuf?
71. Yep, 71, and could probably crack more push-ups than most guys half my age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that has been doing them. And I call them out.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm getting checked.
All right, let's see it. Let's see what they do at True North.
Oh, you wanna go? All right, I'll take you with me.
Okay, take me with you.
I'll take you with me, but
so this is what they do. This is what they do at True North.
It might change a little bit. Come on, I got a Zoom call. They want to see what you do.
Oh, you got a Zoom call.
Yeah, I'm on a Zoom call. Yeah.
You gotta take off the blur though.
I gotta take off the blur?
Well,
you can't really see anything but the wall.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Oh, you want to see what she does?
Yeah.
Do you mind getting
Well, she can see what I'm doing right now, though, can't she?
Yeah, she can.
Oh yeah, I can see
it. Blur.
It's fine. So you're getting pulse ox, right?
I got my
Yeah, but it's not working. Here, let me try your thumb. It's been doing this all morning long.
She's checking my oxygen.
I'm getting his temperature.
She's getting my temperature. Go ahead.
Yeah, they take good care of you at True North.
Oh, have you been here before?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I was there with Yusuf earlier last month.
Yeah, we're gonna make you famous sitting up in here. Yeah, I mean.
Thank you.
All right.
Did you see Dr. Weiss this morning?
Yes.
We did. And what was your weight this morning?
My weight was 143. Yeah, looking like a pterodactyl.
How about your sleep?
Sleep, 4 to 5.
4 to 5.
Yeah.
And your water intake yesterday?
3 glasses.
Any juice or broth yesterday? Or just
no juice, no broth.
And just get the blood pressure. I need to like this.
All right.
No.
Wrap it tight.
Now you feel how's
Wrap
your
it
energy
tight.
going?
Make it right, huh?
How's your energy now? You feel like
about 5 minutes. Getting close to 6.
Yeah, but you feel better about going home. And
Oh, absolutely.
oh, good.
I'm ready to rock. I'm ready to get up out of here.
Good.
45 days? Absolutely.
I know. That's amazing. Long haul.
Yeah,
You just relax your arm on the table. There you go. Take a nice big deep breath.
You getting it?
Yeah, getting your blood pressure taken. So they come twice a day to check on you. I would imagine during your 30 days, maybe they were in your room more than twice a day. I'm not sure.
Well, one day I went down to 61 over 37
Your
in
blood
blood
pressure.
pressure.
Yeah.
And they immediately got the doctor in to check me out to make sure I was okay. And I got checked, I think, four times that day.
Right.
Oh, you didn't get it? Oh, what?
I know, probably because you're talking, you're holding
Oh,
up the computer, you're interacting.
I'm
with
sorry.
public. No, no, that's all right. I think that's just what your blood pressure can do when you're
When I'm not relaxed.
busy.
So you want to take it again? All right, we take it again. I got to calm down. So
Take a nice big deep breath. Simply inhale. Perfect, 99.63. That was quick.
He's got control
Okay.
over his blood
Okay.
pressure.
That was awesome.
y'all had me amped up.
Yeah, that's exactly what was happening.
So are we
Okay.
good?
Thank you, yes, thank you
Okay.
very much.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
So y'all had me amped up and I was up to 154. I'm like, what?
That's
She says I was
insane.
moving.
It dropped down to 99 that fast.
Yeah, that fast. Because I started breathing.
Yeah.
You know, you take them long breaths. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, you were telling me how you you had a lot of good background information on chronic disease, cancer. You were in the methadone clinic counseling people, and you were aware of True North Health Center through the Rich Roll podcast, and then maybe some other areas
Some other
and
podcasts too. Yep.
some other podcasts. So I'm interested about your dad's diagnosis, what happened to him, and your brother, and I believe you said a cousin, and then kind of like what you saw them go through and what they went through.
My dad had his health declined for about 15 years. Different things, gallbladder, pancreatitis, gout, prostate cancer. And when he got the diagnosis and they told him the options, he just said, cut it out. Just dismiss it like that. And that's my dad. He didn't think too much about consequences or anything like that. He just said, cut it out. However, he did say before he died that he wished he took care of his body the way that I did. My brothers, when they got diagnosed, I don't know whether they panicked or not, but I believe both of them has theirs cut out also. My cousin wound up getting radiation. I remember them telling my dad that he had to stop eating so much meat. And he said that gallbladder, gout is a rich man's disease because he was convinced after he got it, then looking back at studying it, that the ice cream that he was demanding and all the meat that he was demanding caused the problem. So I knew that I was eating a little different, but my PSA scores kept creeping up. So I decided to do the 13-day fast. And during that time, I said, I got in trouble. And I said, living alone at the time, that if I fall here, pass out, whatever the case is, nobody probably wouldn't find me until they smell me, which would be way too late. You're
Right.
in the house by yourself. So fasting like that, I said, you know what? I need to do something different. However, this was just before Ramadan. So I haven't missed a Ramadan in over 40 years. So what I decided to do was stop the water and juice after 13 days and then refeed myself starting Ramadan and go through the Ramadan fast of 30 days. So I'm figuring I must have did something right in those combination of the 13 and the 30, got a PSA test and found out that it spiked 7 points.
So you had the PSA test after your fasting, your juice, and it actually went up after the fasting.
Right.
Yes. Can I pause you right there? Can we put a
Sure.
pin in that? Your father and your brother and cousin, after their
Two brothers.
two brothers,
Right.
did they end up passing from prostate cancer?
No, they're still alive. They both alive.
Okay, excellent, excellent. But
Very good guys.
okay, good. So, but you didn't want to go that route. You didn't
No.
want to, did they recommend, what treatment did they recommend for you? And what stage of prostate cancer were you?
I went and got tests done. I saw a urologist. From the jump, he did not like my attitude about it. But I submitted, got a biopsy, now MRI first, where they saw a lesion, verified it with a biopsy, and after the biopsy, they told me I had cancer, first stage. When they asked me what I wanted to do, that's when I bared down on listening to Thomas Seyfried and Dr. Goldhammer about how to heal metabolically. And so when they asked me what did I want to do after giving me the option of hormone therapy, chemotherapy, radiation, or surgery, I said, I'm not doing any of that. So he looked at me and said, well, what you going to do? I said, I'm going to do metabolic therapy. He said, what's that? I said, I'm going to fast for 30 days. He looked at me, you don't have 30 days on you. That's what he told me. So in my mind, I said, sound like you calling me out into the bathroom kind of thing. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I said, let's see. I didn't tell him that. I said, but in my mind, let's see. So I signed up for 45 days here because I didn't want to go through that situation where I'm compromised, physically compromised, and not have help. When I looked at their litany of services, I seen all these people that were involved in taking care of you. I said, let me try this before I turn myself over to the barbarians.
To the medical
So
industrial complex.
Yeah, I say I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that first. So my urologist, not happy with me. That's his problem. And the radiologist, he ain't happy because he never got anything past an initial visit. Because I did go see him. I saw him once, and then they kept calling me. They stopped calling me because I said I'm not doing it. So that's when I signed up and ended up here at True North.
Gotcha. So I'm curious about you said when you did 13 days at home.
Yes.
And you said your PSA went up.
Yes.
What was that all about?
My the physicians here said that fasting will spike the PSA. So you don't take a prostate specific antigen test right after a fast because fasting will spike the numbers. It will spike the numbers for PSA, and I believe it was also spike the numbers for cholesterol.
That happened to me. I had I'm like, what's going on? They're like, oh, no,
Right.
no, 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 don't measure it, because I didn't
Right.
realize our body creates cholesterol. And so then when you're fasting, you don't really need it. So it's like throwing the cholesterol out there
Right.
and then it goes down. Yeah.
Right. So God willing, what I'll do this time, I'll wait 3 or 4 months before I get it checked again. But
Okay.
I'm at the point now that I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you you had the 13 days, you got weak, you knew you needed to go, or you wanted to go longer. So you got all the information together about True North and just decided to bite the bullet. You had your interview with Dr. Goldhammer.
Yes.
And did he recommend 30 days?
I recommended it. That's what I wanted to do because I wanted to kill this cancer. And if I thought I could go longer, I probably would have went 40 days. And then I would have tried to part the Red Sea or something. But I was determined that I was going to get rid of the cancer.
Right. So your idea, let's starve this
Man,
cancer.
look, the thing that I learned is that you don't turn away from a problem. You step into it. You know what my background has been. I think I told you about my early part of my life. I learned that you step towards a problem, not away from it. You step into it, not away from it. Because you can't run from yourself. You can't run from things that are happening in yourself. And no one is going to be more involved in your life than you. Period. So knowing that, you step into it.
Right, right. And
Mhm.
one of the reasons the first time I ever heard of somebody who had gone to True North Health Center, and I met them personally in my gym, and I thought they were crazy. And then the next thing you know, 20 years later, I'm at True North and committing to be there for a couple weeks every year of my life. And the thing
Mhm.
that just seemed so intuitive to me is this idea that our body can heal itself. If I get a cut, it's miraculous. It gets healed. If I, take a drug or something, the body balances out as a response to that. So our body's always wanting to be in homeostasis, and it wants to be well and it wants to heal. And so I heard this idea that the body like created this cancer. So it also has the ability to heal the cancer. And so if we just work with our body's intelligence and support it, it can heal. And is that obviously resonates with you, and that's why you were there, is to like enable your body to like tap into its intelligence and allow it to rest and take a break from everything, all these inputs, so that it can heal.
I spent time removing doubt and uncertainty from my life. I can't live like that. I have to know. So I have no problem studying the metabolic processes of what the body goes through. The body, what makes cancer is an intrusion into the body, be it environmental, by food or stress or something else. So we do not mean to invite cancer or conditions that create cancer in the body, but the body, as you indicated, does heal. So I studied the ketosis, autophagy, listening to Thomas Seyfried. He talks about oxidative phosphorylation and fermentation phosphorylation, where once the ketones are burnt by the liver, no, cancer cells live by glucose and glutamine. That's the fuel for cancer. Regular cells use all the other nutrients and oxygen. When the glucose is burnt off, the liver then begins to process the visceral fat and turns it into ketones. The ketones are then used to create glucose because the body needs some glucose. And then what happens is autophagy, where the cells begin to cycle, feed off of themselves, and discard the bad part of cells.
Right.
I mean, I'm like, yo, man, this is like a factory on the inside doing all the work if you remove the toxins. So that I was sold. I know what my body was doing scientifically. It is the science that frees you, that takes the uncertainty out, the doubt out, the what else? Anxiety away. The science does that. I hope I'm not overstepping like this.
No, it does. I'm there with you. This idea of programmed cell death. Your body becomes so efficient that because in the absence of food, in the absence of all of these inputs, it has to get real efficient. And so it starts discarding anything that it doesn't need. And what was amazing to me when I went through the 14 years of learning about cancer, and still I try to learn about cancer, it's like these cancer cells are weak.
Yeah.
They're the weakest cells in our body. They can't handle much. And so when you starve them, and when your body can just like eat them up.
Right.
And so, but for the pharmaceutical industry and the cancer industry, it takes a completely different approach. It's cut and poison, and meanwhile you're poisoning the rest of your body. And this is just like a totally different way of looking at it. So what I really want to know, and I bet other people want to know, is how the heck did you make it 30 days without
cracking?
Food? Yes, without cracking. And I want to know how much did you weigh when you got to True North?
168.
Okay. 168 pounds.
Let me see if I can tune it in here.
It's blurred. Oh, there we go. Okay, every day you wrote it down. Yeah.
Wrote it down every day.
So you weighed 168 pounds.
168.3.
168.3.
Yes.
How long was it before you arrived at True North? You said you did a 13-day. How many months or how much time in between that?
13 days in between March and April.
Oh, so you had done 13 days and then pretty quickly turned around.
Ramadan right after that.
Okay.
Which is a 30-day fast, but different type of fasting.
Right.
And then right after Ramadan came here.
Okay. And before the 13 days at home, did you weigh more?
Yes. I weighed about, I was up to about 170, about 4 pounds difference, about 172, 175 in that range.
Okay, got it. Okay. So then you talked to Dr. Goldhammer, and what did he say about your particular situation and his thoughts on fasting and your cancer?
He said, you look like a good candidate. you're probably going to have a lot of improvement. He never says cure. He never says that because, you know, people are looking.
Yeah.
So
They're
he
looking to
said,
shut him down because
that's right.
it doesn't cost much to go to True North Health Center in comparison to that round of chemo.
Yeah. So, but I believed, you know, that the interview was a formality because I was coming, because I was already convinced with science. I've seen enough science. I've been a scientist most of my life. I'm a nerd. You know, I look at science to solve problems. It doesn't matter what kind of problem it is. I look to science to do it. So my mind was made up. So I came in at 168. The lowest I got to was 136.
And
Nope,
how tall are you?
130. I think I got down to 136. Yeah, 136. 6'1". So I was below my BMI.
The allowable BMI?
The allowable BMI is 140 to 180.
Okay.
And when I mentioned it to one of the doctors, he said, in the beginning, he said, well, you can fast safely just below your normal BMI. I said,
Right.
okay.
Right.
And I
You're
knew they were going to monitor me, which also makes you comfortable. So it was a no-brainer.
right. And they know what they're doing. They've supervised 25,000 patients and nobody has died. Like our body is just absolutely incredible what it can do. So what was the roller coaster? Like how did you get into this mindset? And did you ever get to this point where you're like, I need to eat, or I can't do this any longer, or I'm
No,
not safe?
no. For I've been in the mental health, behavioral health, drug and alcohol space for over 40 years. You name it, I probably did it. So I've been talking to people about how to make change. I look at what is in the current space and I never liked it because I believe that it cheats everybody. No need to be in therapy 10, 20, 30, 50 years. And I got a 50-year person on my caseload, doing quite well, I might add. First thing I did was talk to my nervous system. That's the first thing I did. Bruce Lee said this: don't speak negatively about yourself, not even as a joke, because the body doesn't know the difference. Words are energy and cast spells. That's why it's called spelling. Change the way you speak about your life and change the way that you speak about yourself and you can change your life. What you don't change, you choose. I thought about that. So we speak into ourselves health, or we think or speak into ourselves illness. When you think you can't, you can't. When you think you won't, you won't. So I told myself, create a vision. So I created a vision of what I thought I wanted to be, do, behave in my next steps. That was an image. That was an idea. I said, let's go. So you talk to your nervous system first. The first protest that's going to come is going to be from your subconscious. Because your subconscious does three things: record, recalls, and makes you comfortable the way you train it, or the habits you built around it, your behavior habits. So the subconscious may say, man, I'm not doing that. Man, we're not doing what?
And did that happen to you? Did your subconscious?
Always. It happens to everybody.
Okay, I'm checking in because
Yeah. And I tell it, shut up. Just shut up. You've been driving a bus. You're not driving the bus no more. I'm driving. And I'm going to tell you what to think. You ain't telling me what to think. I listened to you for a lot of years. Look where I am, going to a urologist. So I say, shut up. Once I make up my mind to keep the vision, to talk to my nervous system, they don't have a choice but to go. Let's go. So once I'm in that state, I say, well, I don't even count the days. I enjoyed myself. I went down into the courtyard. Remember, I used to just dive into the courtyard talking to everybody, lottie, dottie, everybody. But then I got so weak, I had to stop. Because after about 12 days, I bumped my head in the bathroom, unstudied. Boom. And I told the doc, I said, ooh. He said, did you hurt yourself? I said, well, you might want to look at the wall. I'm all right. Because I was unsteady on my feet. So you do have to be supervised. But after that, I spent the next 15 or more days in my room.
Right, because we were all there. So we're in the courtyard looking for Yusuf every morning. How's Yusuf doing?
Yeah.
And then one day you just disappeared.
Disappeared, man. Couldn't hang. I didn't even go out on the balcony. I did not want to be the first brother that dropped out of the sky on the patio. You understand what I'm saying? I stayed off of the balcony because I was like, oh man, what the hell's going on here? You know? I wasn't steady on my feet.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to play like I'm tough and all that. I was going, but I never panicked because I knew I was being supervised.
Right. And you talk about this mentality and how you had to get locked in. Were you locked in prior, like your mindset? Was it this power locked in before you got to True North?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, all right.
I'm telling people, look, I'm making claims. Anytime that you share information, you're also making a claim. I tell my guys on my caseload, I say, look, you're not going to make progress unless you can be comfortable while you're uncomfortable. I got that on my wall. Learn how to be comfortable while you're uncomfortable. If I can't do it, then the chatter don't matter.
Right.
So, yeah. So I'm thinking I need the confirmation for those guys too.
Right. You're saying I've been preaching this for how long to my clients, and now my number's up.
That's right.
I gotta walk my talk.
That's right. That's right. You gotta pray and then live your prayer. Right. You can't live your prayer, how are you going to get the help? Being strong is your only choice. You don't have any other choice. You can accept to live well. No, you can choose to live well and prosper. Or you can accept to die ugly and painfully.
Right, right.
That's the only two choices you have. So I was determined that I was to confirm my own theories of language and how language affects the body. And I was going to confirm my metal, how much core strength and resiliency I have, because I wanted to prove that to me that I wasn't full of yang, so to speak.
Right. So 30 days without food, only drinking distilled water. You were locked in, so you were never not going to continue unless they told you that your life was threatened. And
that's correct.
So you just locked in. And can you describe to me the first few days? Did it get easier throughout the 30 days? Like, what did it get harder? How? Obviously you weren't going back and forth, like, should I stop my fast? Or
I can say this.
never an option. I'm just trying to get at the core
Yeah.
feeling that you were dealing with. What was uncomfortable for you?
Water. Water. After a while, I started gagging on the water.
Oh, I didn't know this part.
Yeah. Then I changed to bottled water, the carbonated water.
Okay.
The carbonated water made the difference. The carbonated distilled water made all the difference. Drinking ice cold carbonated water, when I see them bubbles in the glass, the first thing that do is go, you know how the pinky go up while you drinking Perrier? That's what it was like, drinking Perrier. You understand what I'm saying? You know, I would get them cold glasses of carbonated water and the pinky would go up because it was so satisfying. And
Yeah.
it's different than just drinking the plain distilled water. That made all the difference.
Yeah. And were you hungry at first?
Nah.
You were
I've been
never
fasting
hungry.
on and off for lots of years.
Okay.
I don't have that kind of relationship with food. It's fuel. It ain't nothing else but fuel for me. Now, trust me, I like to eat. Back in the day, 20-inch pizza, ground beef, mushrooms, and onions, I knocked the whole thing out by myself. A pint of chunky monkey was my friend. You know what I mean? I knocked that bad boy off instead of eating. A 2-foot hoagie, you know the press back in the day, that 2-foot hoagie, man, would be knocked out, and so would I. Bam!
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
What were your eating habits like before your right before your diagnosis?
mainly fruits, vegetables, ground beef, rice, episodes of, I kind of got away from the chunky monkey. Uh, you know, little every so often the sourdough pretzels, stuff like that. But
Right.
mainly fruits, vegetables, pretty because you know, I would go to the gym, you know, doing push-ups and all this other kind of stuff. And so my eating was okay. Matter of fact, I used to put my dinners up on the wall in my office. And the guys would say, "What restaurant you go to?" I said, "Man, it's not no restaurant. It's what I'm cooking at home."
Right.
So I cooked in bulk. I would cook a pot of kale with cabbage, with diced other vegetables in it to try to spruce it up a little bit. And then I would eat things like chili, you know, with beef. So I had I thought it was a pretty healthy diet.
Right. So, in comparison to the standard American diet, you were eating on the healthier side.
Yeah.
So you were kind of on your way to eating healthier. I'm interested to know about your refeed and how you felt about the True North food, the salt, oil, sugar free food, whole foods, plant-based, SOS free, how your refeed's been going, and then also about your energy level. Because when you and I were texting after I had left and gone home, you and I were texting back and forth, and you were talking about how weak you felt after the 30 days of water only fasting. So just interested to hear about your refeed.
The food here is amazing. Chef Bravo and Chef Mo, those guys do a fantastic job with food that has no salt, oil, or sugar. And then there are things that you can use, condiments, you know, like red rice vinegar, balsamic vinegar, that kind of like puts a little taste back in some of the stuff. For the most part, I thought I was doing okay until one doctor said, "Look, that big pile of solid that you're eating every day is about 100 calories. You need to eat something other than solids. I said, woo. So I had to go to the steam portion. That began to raise my energy level. But the majority of the time, 0 to 10, my energy level was between 3 and 4.
Right.
One day I got stuck coming up the steps. I had a bowl in each hand, coming up the steps for a little extra food, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got stuck because I didn't realize how weak my legs were, and I couldn't make it any further up the steps. And I turned around. One lady looked me in the eye. She looked at me long enough, so I knew I wasn't getting help there. Then I looked around somewhere else because I'm trying to figure out what to do. Do I put the food on the steps and take one up at a time? Do I leave the food on the steps? Because I'm stuck. That was scary,
Right.
unsettling.
So that's
And
indicative of how weak
weak
you
you can
were
get. Yeah,
after the 30 days.
right.
Are they giving you any like avocados or any higher calorie food in order to
Yes,
gain weight
yes.
back?
Let me tell you something. They had a lasagna here the other day that was to die for. You hear me?
Yeah.
A vegetable lasagna. Oh, my goodness. It didn't last but maybe 15 minutes and it was gone. All I got was 2 pieces, and man, I'm like, oh, man, where's that? And then he brought out another tray. I'm like, whoa, there go the other 2 pieces. So there's always some steamed vegetables or starches or beans, that type of thing offered too. So, but I always ate a combination of both. And then I started shifting towards the heavier foods. And that's when my energy started coming back.
Right.
My
You
bag
need
weighs
some
about,
calories, Yusuf.
yeah, because I'm only 143 now.
Okay.
Right now, I'm 143. But I packed my bag, which weighs about 48 pounds. I don't have too much trouble moving.
You are not?
No.
Okay, good. So you've only gained back about 7 pounds, right? So
Right.
it'll be a slow gain back, especially if you hold tight with the Whole Foods plant-based SOS free. So what are your plans for eating when you leave? Because you weren't completely plant-based
No.
before, and are
No.
you planning on going plant-based now? And
Until I get better results, it's plant-based.
got it.
Now, they told me for every week that I fast, it takes a month.
A
About
month for what?
to recover strength, to recover. So 4 weeks, it takes about 4 months.
Okay, that makes sense. This time I did feel, I fasted for 5 days, and this was the first time I really felt like I did my refeed properly and really rested my body and allowed myself to slowly bring my energy level back up and not force it. And it just felt like the healing continued throughout my refeed. And I feel like I'm still almost in that healing mode. And that is what Dr. Goldhammer confirmed with some research, is that the benefits continue well after the fast and into your refeed. So yeah. Well, excellent. It was so great to talk to you, Yusuf.
Let me
And
tell you, y'all guys are some of the best, man. You and your son, and please give him the greetings for me, and I wish him the best. Y'all guys have been great supporters. I mean, keeping up with me. The community here is just amazing. It's just amazing. It's amazing.
it is
I talk
amazing.
it's the first time in my life that I've been able to talk to everybody that I come in contact with because I'm interested in people.
Right, right.
And if you got to end now, understand, because I got to get ready to boogie woogie to go pick up this car. But we need to do another one, and I'll tell you about my background that kind of brought me in here. you know,
Right,
the bullying and all that other kind of stuff that empowers me now.
right.
Because I'm about letting your trauma pay you back. Yes, your trauma, let your trauma, and let all that yang yang pay you back. That's what I'm about.
That's what you're about.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm about.